choked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. It's donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah. Oh, man. It's getting to be weird time in Notre Dame land. It's this quarterback thing, you guys. Welcome in. I'm glad to be with you in the middle of the week. Get started here. It's just a weird place to be. It's a weird place to be. And predictably, there's only a certain amount of time you could expect everybody in the Notre Dame ecosystem to keep it all together before the stress and anxiety and uncertainty gets to people. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Twitter's a disaster. Facebook's a disaster. My chat on Patreon's a disaster. This is a disaster. And by disaster, I just mean everybody's all over the board and nobody agrees on anything and nobody's quite sure what's going on. And every day that it all goes another day, it ratchets up the questions. And then the takes get a little more, the takes start to expand and they start to have a little bite to them and they cut a little deeper. And it's not ideal, but it's super predictable. Super predictable. It's like, oh, spring, well, we have a quarterback competition and then whatever, but there's plenty of time for it to sort out. It's just kind of simmering there. And you know it's an issue that must be addressed, but there's plenty of time, right? And then through summer, nothing's really happening for you to measure. And you're like, okay, when we get to camp, we're going to get the answers we want. And then you get to camp and then it starts and you want to give it some time. And then the time goes by and you still don't have answers. And I'm just seeing a boiling point. I'm seeing a boiling point. And it includes the fan base and media frustration because they're trying to cover everything as best they can and they don't have the answers anybody wants. And so everyone ends up in a thing where, here's how I was thinking about it last night when I was thinking about putting this show together. It's like camp's moving forward. The team is progressing to Miami. The defense is coming along, all this stuff. The O-line's getting figured out, right? But in a way, it feels like we're marching to Miami. Like all of this is steamrolling to Miami, and there's no way to stop time. But it's like a part of the whole thing is in neutral because of this quarterback. That's how I feel like, in the back of your mind, we're steaming towards Miami and everybody knows what that matchup's going to mean. But in a way, while the days are going off the calendar, you feel like you're stuck in neutral because you don't know who the quarterback's going to be. It's a weird place to be. But I'm seeing it. We're reaching a boiling point to where people are really starting to it's just driving people crazy. It's driving people crazy. And all the narratives and then things get a little wilder. The more it goes on, the more people are playing with it in their head, trying to figure out the reality. What if this? What if that? And what's the reality? And do we have two really good quarterbacks? Do we have no really good quarterbacks? That's the range. Even in this YouTube chat so far in 4 minutes, there's people who are convinced both these guys are no good, and there's other people writing in the chat, what a good problem to have. You have two quarterbacks with good athleticism that could be good. I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know. Nobody knows. And now there's this vibe, and some of what I want to talk about is the vibe and the leaning and the reporting is like it's a little bit Minchie style. You get me? The latest stuff that's come out, you read, you look at it, and it's leaning a little Minchie. I don't think this fan base is fully prepared for that. A lot of this fan base is not prepared for that news. And you don't know whether it's good or bad. You don't know whether it's good or bad. So we're in a weird, uncomfortable place. And the other thing is, it's like there's so much to talk about. There's so many interesting parts of this team and this season and the personnel. You almost just feel like you can't, like, you want to talk about the defense and some of this stuff, and you want to talk about the O-line getting all all put together, and you these other interesting aspects of the team. The quarterback thing's just overshadowing everything. It's just overshadowing everything. And you want to say, why, let's focus on the somebody put in the chat, can we just talk about the defense for a little bit today to get off this topic or whatever? It's hard. Here's the tricky part with that. And forgive me for doing this little self-counseling session here. Didn't even do the introduction. I'm just talking through it. I understand people being like, I'm so exhausted with this. Can we talk defense or whatever else? The tricky part is no one can ignore how important this situation is. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I'd love to talk about the defense or whatever, but like as a distraction, but like, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And you can't overlook that. It's the quarterback. I say it all the time. Most important individual position in all of team sports is quarterback. It has that big of an impact on winning and losing. That guy touches the ball and has so much control and power over winning and losing. And I get that people are like, let's talk about the defense, whatever. It's such a big deal. It is that important. It is that important. So I get why it's dominating the narratives. But it's like, when you're on the media side of this, how many podcasts and YouTube videos and articles can you write trying to say everybody's waiting for one of these guys to win the job and it ain't happening? How many of those can you write in a row? 15 of them every day of practice? And every one of these podcasts or whatever, that the number one question is, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Like, don't you think people would already talked about it if you knew? It's getting exhausting, and it's messing with people's heads. And you just want to know where it stands. You just want to know where it stands so you could plant the flag, rally around a guy, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. So it's just tough, man. It's a tough dynamic everybody's fighting through. And it's like the entire, what should be the WPP. I don't know if you're here or not. By now, we should be ramping into hating Miami mode. And like a lot of the vibe is about that dynamic between us and Miami and the history and the hard feelings and everything and fighting in the tunnel and everything else. The QB thing is distracting everybody from that. Like that's where all the eyeballs are. That's where it all is. And it's not as much about we got to kick the crap out of Miami or whatever. It's all quarterback. Who's it going to be? Is it right or wrong? Do we have two guys? Do we have no guys? I don't know. Like, it'll mess with your mind. Quite frankly, it's messing with my mind. It's messing with everybody's mind. I just can't. It's really frustrating. And I don't know what to make of it. But lately, there's been a little bit of a pro Minchie lean in the last 24 hours or whatever. And I think that's very interesting. And it raises a whole different batch of questions. And I don't know what to make of it, you guys. And I want to know where you guys are at. But in all of my chats already, everything I see on Twitter, everything I see on the Patreon, everything I see here, people are all over the board. And it's like, choose your own adventure, choose your own narrative. It's weird. It's just making me a little uncomfortable. I want closure, and the uncertainty is messing with people's minds. But I'm with WPP. I'm starting to have a little anxiety with Miami should be the push here, but it's quarterback. And it's like, that's a unique dynamic heading into week 1 for Notre Dame, since I've been doing this, building into it. But it's like, I understand people that are like, I need to know who we're riding with before I start worrying about Miami. I got to, like, that may not make sense. That you're like, well, the team's playing Miami, whoever the quarterback is, it should all be Miami. But in your fan mind, in a way, it's like, I need to know who we're rolling into war with before I gear up for Miami. Like, there's like that weird feeling. There's that weird feeling of like, you can't move on to that till you know. Yeah, we just want to know the quarterback's face. Show us your face. So, you guys, this is a struggle a little bit. It's a struggle, and some of it's turning a little toxic, and I hate to see it, quite frankly. Some of it's turning a little toxic, and I was hoping this would get figured out before these camps really divided and people start going at it. Yeah, John is always nervous about something. If I'm a worrier, man, I'm a worrier. If I'm not worried, check my pulse. Something's wrong. So I don't know. It's I just want to know what you guys think and where this is at. But the pro Minchie tint that's been on this the last 24 hours, day and a half, I think that has a lot of people messed up that were convinced this is just, it's car, no matter what car. And there's a large portion of the fan base that thinks that. And then you get into the debate of whether that's accurate or perceived. But there's a lot of people that thought that. And then you hear this, it might be Minchie, and it just got you going. Do we have 2 guys? Do we have no guys? What are we working with here? So I don't know, man. I don't know. And I do appreciate the people saying, callers, we're coming to you. Got a good slate lined up. I do appreciate the people that are like, whatever, whoever it is, we're going to get behind them. Figure it out. Like whatever we're going to do. Like, I appreciate the people that can have that perspective and be like, I trust these coaches and Mike Denbrock and Gino to figure it out. And then whoever it is, I'm going to rally behind. Like, I appreciate that. But there's a large percentage of this fan base that was not properly prepared to hear the Kenny stuff. There's a large amount of this fan, and it's messing them up. And they're saying, no, wait a second. What are the realities here then? Does this mean Kenny's playing up? Does this mean Carr's playing down? Like, that's the question. Is Kenny rising up to claim this thing, or is CJ disappointing? Which is it? Probably both. It's probably going to be both. It isn't going to be all one or the other, though. If this dynamic is the way it is, it's complicated. It isn't going to be, it's not one or the other. It would be a combination of both, of Kenny kind of, it's getting uncomfortable. So let's get into this. Let me do the introduction, couple chats, and then we'll see what the callers think. It's a weird feeling this close to the Miami game, and nobody's crapping on Miami on Twitter or whatever. They're all debating this quarterback thing. It's a weird side distraction, but it's important, so I get it. And who am I to say not worry about it? Like, I can't say that. I'm worried about it. So we're stuck in this. And then the downstream effect is, I would love to know this. And it's probably a question for Goolsby. Does this ever affect the team? We are sitting here as outsiders, like, here's what we need for comfort. I just wonder, for the team, like, you're a defense player. Whatever's going to happen with the offense is going to happen. All I'm worried about is the defense. Like, whatever, I'm going to do my part. I wonder if the team ever feels any of this pressure of, like, the uncertainty, Or is that totally a media fan thing and you're like, I'm the running back, I'm getting the ball from whoever's handing it to me and I'm playing? Or like whatever. I'm on defense. I ain't worried about the offense to do that quarterback. I don't know. But I certainly hope that the actual team doesn't feel the way that our media and fan base feels, because it's an uncomfortable, uncertain dynamic. And even if they named the starter a week ago and we knew, there's still uncomfortable uncertainty because you don't know how they're going to play. Naming the quarterback is one thing. How they're going to play against Miami is a completely different worry. We're not even there yet. We ain't even there yet. So I hope the team doesn't feel any of this stuff we feel, and they're all doing their own thing in their own position group and whatever. But the pressure's building. Then you get into the dynamic of this weekend being kind of a deadline where camp's over and Miami prep begins and there's a scrimmage and you would like to ideally have a quarterback named for that time. Isn't that what everybody's looking for? Is that going to happen or not? Is that not the next big time marker here? 3 weeks of camp will be over. Then you get into 2 weeks of Miami prep. You'd like to have that guy named. Is that going to happen or not? Should it happen or not? Is there an argument that if you're still not sure, you should expand that thing out another week? And it's like, well, you're taking away from Miami prep. You need the ones with the ones. Yeah, I understand that. But then there's a risk calculation. Of, in an ideal world, you want the ones running with the ones for 2 weeks heading into Miami. But and you don't want to take away from those reps by dividing them up. But there's another argument to be made that if you really don't know and there isn't separation, what could Denbrock and Gino do with another week of data or to test these guys at a higher level? And also learn more about what they can do and can't do. Mike brought that up on Patreon. If you expand it out, and Jared was talking about it too, if you expand it out and it runs past that deadline, then you could learn more of what they can do and can't do or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, this thing's leaning, it seems like it's leaning Minchie according to a lot of reporting and some of me and Mike's stuff and other outlets too. There's a Kenny lean on this right now. I don't think a lot of people are prepared for it. What was it? One of the Notre Dame blogs I saw on Twitter had a thing asking, who do you want the starting quarterback? I'm pretty sure it was like 76 or 78% Carr. That's a lot. When they just ask, who do you want the quarterback to be or whatever, I think it was like 76% Carr. I thought it might be a little closer, given that I've never seen either one of these guys in a real game. I thought it might be a little closer than 3/4 one way. I think there's some people not prepared for that outcome, and they're going to ask a lot of questions about what's going on here. It's really interesting. Let's do the introduction, a couple chats, and then we'll see what you guys think. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up if you're here in the morning. Appreciate you. Notifications on that way you don't miss a thing. Twitter search bar, always Irish, always Irish Inc. Emails, always irishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it. If you don't want to see my face, nobody blames you for that. ND on SI, read all about it. Everybody likes the poll feature, Johnny. Well, here's the thing. Johnny's not the most tech savvy. And I had to figure out a way when you're not setting a stream up through YouTube, but you're setting it up through StreamYard, which connects to YouTube. There's different settings. And I had to figure out how to be able to get it all to do it or whatever. But it's going to be a good feature, and I plan to use it moving forward. To get your opinions, learn what you want to talk about. It's going to be really, really interesting. So I do appreciate the new feature there. Shout out to Mark with glasses, helping me figure out how to set some things up and do things. I don't know where I'd be without you guys. Patreon.com/always Irish ND25, the promo code. We got a lot of people jumping in. When you talk about exclusive content you cannot find anywhere else, Mike sent a video of decently long discussion, him and the Rocket ad behind the scenes, and people are enjoying that right now. You can't get that anywhere. You can't get that anywhere. You got some former high-level Notre Dame guys just shooting the BS behind the scenes. Oh, you can't beat that. Oh, you can't beat it. Let's get into this. Let's do a couple chats, get caught up, and then we'll see what the callers think. Twitter National seems to think Kenny Minchey getting the QB nod. The last bit of news leans that way. It does, and we're liking the poll. We should do that every show. We could come up with a juicy question every time we go live. Mikey Polls, good to see you, buddy. John talked me off the ledge. Anybody coming to me to tell them to talk them off the ledge, bro, we already got a problem with the equation. You're asking the guy who picks the top row seat so I could flip off the stadium if things go bad to calm you down? You might want to reevaluate your counselor, sir. Why do I have a terrible feeling both QBs are going to be bad? I feel like this is less of a QB battle and more of a QB issue. That is the question keeping people up at night. And you ask, okay, play this out. Let's play it out. Kenny wins the job. Let's play it out a few days through the scrimmage. Kenny wins the job. Okay, now you know you got your starter, and you at least know who you're rallying behind and dealing with going to Miami. Fine, let's say Kenny wins it and they name it. The next question is, okay, Kenny won the job, but at what level? Do you feel me? That's the next natural question. If you just say, if we play it out and the leaning right now comes to fruition and Kenny wins the job, you'll know that part of the equation. The next natural question, at what level did he win the job? Okay, he beat out Carr, but at what level? We only are seeing a few minutes of practice and our guys battle. At what level did Kenny win the job? Good enough to beat Miami and Texas A&M or not? That's the question. At what level did he win the job? And then even if you were to determine, which I don't think you can, what level it is he going to play to that level, better than that level, or worse than that level against Miami with all that pressure and the bright lights? I could see it going any which way. I could see it going any direction. Is he going to play at that level, better than that level, or worse than that level? Then, see, you guys, it's neurotic, not erotic. That's different. The next question is, okay, whatever. We think we know what we're doing, whatever. You go to Miami. What is what kind, if Kenny wins the job, what does that leash look like? How much leeway does he have for mistakes? Is he going to get a quick hook? Oh, man, we can't afford to lose to Miami. If he's struggling, we got to pull him out and try Carr. Or is it if we went with this guy after all this drama, we have an obligation to let him ease into this thing and work through stuff. See, that's where this gets messed up in your brain. One thing leads to another. There's always the next question you don't have an answer to. Play it out down the line and you keep finding these questions nobody has an answer to. It'll mess with you. It'll mess with you. Most of the reports are, well, both guys are struggling at times. Nobody stepped up and taken the job. Tells me both aren't very good. Yeah, that's the fear. That's one thing that's not on the table is, don't we have a high-level elite quarterback battle here where none of the reporting of anybody that's seen anything has been like, yeah, this is a battle because both guys are on point all the time. Like, that's a narrative that you really can't run with. Of all the ones you can, that has not been the reporting from anybody in the know, that both these guys are off the charts and we just can't determine which one we want to throw for 4,000 yards. I don't know. Text ND. I'm going to get caught up with the chats, go right to the calls. I voted Carr because I've always thought he had higher ceiling, but if Kenny gets a job, I'll 1,000 be on his side. Most important thing after all is ND glory and the natty to show for it. Like, I respect people going, I'm just going to wait and see, and whoever it is, let's get behind them and ride with them and whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. God bless you if you're there. I'd feel completely different if the reports that both QBs were lighting it up and it was backed up with practice footage of them making plays all the time. but all we hear about is the interception. It's making people nervous. The Sly. I voted either one. I could care less. That's very mature of you, Sly. Can we talk about our D or something else besides QB? I wish we could. $2 holler for the Philly special. The Patreon chat was on fire last night. Whew, there's a lot going on. The Commander. We're 2 weeks. Commander vacillates between we're going 12-0 and we're horrible week to week, day to day. We're 2 weeks out, no start at QB. How can you prepare the offense for Miami with both QBs? The clock ran out. We don't have no answers. It's a QB crisis. God, this is tough. This is tough stuff. Ever since Freeman took over the program, the media has had less and less access each year. This is by design. If you've noticed, Freeman is a lot less open than he was early in his tenure. You learn as a coach, you get that beat out of you. Even if your personality is to be open and inviting and tell people what's going on, they're going to beat that out of you because it's risk exposure. There is no upside for one of these coaches to get up there and tell you the absolute truth or extend anything or explain anything out. Oh, it's like being arrested. Anything you say can and will be used against you. There's no upside. Oh, it'll make the fans feel better if Marcus tells us more. Who gives a crap about us? We are not that important to what they're trying to do right now. You get what I'm saying? There is no possible upside of a coach oversharing at a podium. And that was Marcus's nature because he's so genuine. He came in there wanting to really say what's good. They're going to beat that out of you because as an institution, there's no upside to more exposure by saying more and then putting things on the books so that it could come back later. There's no upside. So yeah, it's a part of the plan. And he's got to close down some of his open nature to protect the whole thing. And that's not a good or a bad thing. That's just the world we live in and how this job is. That's how the business is. Don't say nothing that could be held against you. The less you share, the better. You don't want to put something on a quote that could come back to blow up in your face. And it makes sense. If they don't pick one by Monday, I'm assuming next Monday, they run a real risk of screwing this up. The other argument is if they really don't have separation, do you need more time? And it would not be ideal. And we'd have to admit you feel behind in this. But is that the right way to do it? I don't know. Angeli running with the twos at Syracuse. That answers that question. If you got that Andy in your heart, let it out. Show us your QB. We want to see your face. I hope they don't do a Clayton Bigsby style reveal for the QB. I don't think that'd be good. And then we got ND9. This is the most talent we've had in the QB room in a while. This is my kind of crisis. I'm going over all these people that have access to the same information that are coming to different conclusions. It's one of the most interesting social experiments I've had doing this for a job. $5 hour from the rotate. The reason this is a big year is you got to prove last year wasn't a fluke. Well, that's 100%. When you zoom out of all of this, the number one project of the year is, the Ash defense, the O-line, is the receivers going to step forward? What are we doing at quarterback? The overall mission of the year is to prove Notre Dame has staying power in the CFP. Not that you need another 2 years to rebuild and you're up and then you're down and then you try and come back up. But showing you're at that level of elite where, we got a lot of questions. We're going to plug in athletic guys and we're going to go make playoff again and make a run. That is the overarching major question of all this. Does Notre Dame have that staying power? $10 hour from the WPP. Yeah, you know me. Well put, John. This internal bickering's feeding right into the Canes' hands. I'm sure the second they name a starter, it's all going to shift to Miami. I'm telling you, the vibe I have is people are stuck in neutral till they know what that's going to be. They don't know how it's going to perform against Miami, but there's something in our minds. You want to know who your damn quarterback is heading into week one. And everything you think about that game is wrapped around that. Perhaps this internal dissension is a Canes plot to divide the Irish nation. They are capable of such treachery, more than capable. Canes cyber attack. It's on the new bingo card. Where is it? Oh, there you go. You got show us your faces on there too. Kane cyber attack. Mark it with your bingo thing with your grandma at the local VFW. They always have real cold Miller Lite though for like $2. $2 olive from Martinez. Get over to QB crap. We have amazing coas. We have amazing coaches, I'm assuming. And you know what? You got to forgive Martinez for the spelling error there. How many people are operating a freaking concrete mixer and a steamroller while they're on this show? Give the guy a break. JS Bitter, $10 olive. Everybody needs to settle down and let it play out. Conventional wisdom was that we were screwed in 93 when Paulus got hurt. McDougal worked out well. Sometimes team knows. Yep. That's thank you, Bitter. That looks like a newer name. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it very much. It feels like some people are saying the team already knows. If that's the case, I'm leaning that it's Minchie. If they already know, based off the latest information, it kind of feels like if the team knows that it isn't what a lot of this fan base thought it was going to be. And the question I have is, if according to that one poll where 76% of readers on the blog wanted it to be Carr, thought it was going to be Carr. The question I have is, if it doesn't go that way, and 3/4 of the 1,000 or whatever people that respond in this fan base think that, and it doesn't go that way, how are all those people that were firm in the Carr camp going to react if it's not? Are you going to fully support, flip over, and just support the cause and Kenny? Or are you going to sit there with an axe to grind and go, I thought it was going to be Carr, it's not. And the first time Kenny does something that isn't perfect, we're riding Kenny, and you go on Twitter and you type, told ya, they screwed this all up. It should have been Carr the whole way. How is this going to go? There's a lot of people that add this as Carr in the bank. And I'm just wondering if it's not, how that group is going to react to that news and how quick that hook is going to be. One mistake against Miami, and I bet you Twitter's going to light up. Bench this guy. They made the wrong mistake. This is all screwed up. Man, there's just a lot to figure out. There's a lot to figure out. All right, we got a bunch of callers. We got to do the 5 minutes here and get as many people in as we can. Dr. John, what's going on?
On the road again.
You're on the road again, trying to find a quarterback on the road again.
So, lad, I'm about 22 miles from Fargo, and back to Montana.
Well, safe travels to you. Dr. John, in your wisdom and Notre Dame experience, how should we handle this quarterback thing? Should we all just chill out, wait for it to work out, and then get behind the guy who's named? How do you handle this?
Well, I'm not voting for either one of them. I'll be behind whoever starts. And I said when you mentioned how these people are going to react if they pick Carr and Minchie's the quarterback and we struggle, how upset they'll be. All I can think about is when I was 12 years old. That attitude was not too healthy for me. So,
yeah.
Oh, I get bummed out. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to the start. What do we got? 18 days or something like that. I got that nervous, worried feeling, but that's every year. So, is Mr. Frawley on the line by any chance?
Yes.
Good. So I tell you what, I want you to put me back in the queue. You gotta get me through a good portion of North Dakota here before maybe you should go 3 hours today.
I'll put you back in the queue so you can just listen from the phone without YouTube. It'll be perfect. I'll just put you in the queue and you can listen.
Okay, buddy. And I'll be in chat on Friday. No golf on Friday, golf on Saturday. So,
perfect.
Hi, everybody in the chat, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Tom has to say.
Fantastic. Hey, safe travels, Doc. Thanks for touching base.
Okay, Johnny. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
There we go. Return to the queue. That guy's always on the move, man. Tom Frawley, Chicago's very own, right on cue. What's going on?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. My daughter found out that I've got a bit of a following on this podcast. She goes, "You need your head examined. You guys are all a bunch of softballs."
Yeah, I mean, we all need our head examined. That's why we're here. That's the theme of the show.
That's what I told her.
Yeah, that's the whole point. This is the gathering point of all those people. Exactly.
I mean, this is the same girl who saw her first Notre Dame game in Notre Dame Stadium when she was 2 during Oklahoma. And I had her dressed up. The whole. She understands the psychosis. But anyway, so our friend Lisa Kelly, that is a big domer. She writes books. She writes books. You know who Lisa Kelly is, right?
I know Lisa.
She just had an article. Yeah, so she did an article that she posted this morning on One Foot Down, and her survey that she did showed 76% of the respondents picked TJ Carr. And I don't know the sample size of the thumbnail, but I kind of know who follows her. And that's usually the double domers and the heavy domers. That's her following, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, all right. So take that out of it, and then all the psychosis and the nonsense that we're talking about, the worry and all that. I talked to 2 real successful high school coaches yesterday, and we were talking about this. And the first thing they talk about is what's the most vital, important thing of the team, and that is from Pop Warner, Pee Wee level, all the way up to the pros. It kind of goes away in the pros. It's coaching, fundamentals, and coaching. So what do you do when you've got new quarterbacks, especially high-profile systems where the whole world's watching them? You make sure your offensive line is ready to rock and roll, because that can cover a multitude of sins. And then you make sure that your wide receivers and your tight ends are not only running good, crisp routes, but they're blocking down properly. Those fundamentals, and Captain Goolsby will back me up on this. Coaching is so vitally important, so we don't hear any of that stuff. But some of the things, we don't hear the chatter because it's not sexy. It's not, the All-American quarterback that's got dating the hot cheerleader and, all those optics, right? The big uglies up front are going to drive the bus early, right? On both sides of the ball. So when you look at that, what do you do going in as a micro game plan for Miami? I'm not worried about Texas A&M or anybody else. I'm worried about Miami. And what do we know about Miami? Well, we know that their defensive coordinator is a Greg Schiano disciple, right? So he's going to play the run, and they're going to load the box. Happy days. Yeah. Happy days. I want that to happen so badly. Come with it. Because I will guarantee you that all we've got to do is run RPO, little play action out of the gun, and let Kenny or CJ, let them roll out of the pocket and let them dish underneath and gash these. I can just see Faison and Greathouse just gashing these guys underneath. And don't forget, we've got a big tight end, right?
Yeah, Tom.
That big soft hand tight end.
Whoever this quarterback is going to have a lot of opportunities against Miami to burn some guys. With if you're Miami, I am selling out on the run. I am not letting Love go crazy. That is my focus. I am selling out to stop Notre Dame's run. And I am saying, if whoever they name quarterback can go in there at our place, throw it around and beat us, God bless them, we'll tip our app. I guarantee that's what they're thinking is stop the run, win the game. And if the new Notre Dame guy shreds you, then we'll deal with that. I bet you're right.
Well, and the other part of it is the formations that Denbrock could not run last year. So think about this. Now you've got Jeremiah Love, who's got soft hands, and you incorporate him in the passing game. You could put him out into the boundary. So there's a formation. It's called a bunch formation, where you've got two slot receivers, X and Z, and then you could put Jeremiah Love out on the boundary, and then maybe you could put the tight end outside a little bit too. They will shit their pants. They won't know what to do with those formations because they see the weaponry that Notre Dame has, right? So if they play fundamental football, the offensive line, they stay on their blocks and they don't make stupid mistakes, they could gash Miami because of, we don't know, he brought in all these so-called stud transfers for the defensive backfield. I'm guaranteeing you their eye discipline will not be top shelf in the first game. Now, they can make those adjustments at halftime. I don't like that defensive coordinator on Miami. I think he's going to sell out, and I think Denbrock and company, especially with bunch formations and coming back running RPO, I think it's going to be a long day for that Miami defense.
Yeah,
I
man.
really do.
And the thing that I always think about, Tom, is what I always think about is these things move together. The better you are at throwing the ball, the better your run game should be because there's more opportunities available there. And the better you can run the ball, the more it opens up passing opportunities. So I always see these things moving together. And that's why I've always valued a balanced type offense. So nobody knows we could just crash the line and send everybody in the box and then win that way. Like, the better one is, the better the other should be. If you could get a good passing game going, man, Love's going to have a lot more room to operate in that run game. It all moves together.
There's no question.
It all moves together.
And don't forget, now, Carson Beck is going to have his hands full with our defensive ends and our linebackers. I seriously believe that they will cause two crucial picks on Carson Beck.
Oh, I like it.
I really do. That's a recipe for disaster. So the defense, all they need is gap discipline. Because that's a big offensive line. They've got a good offensive line, right? So they need eye discipline, gap discipline, just play their game. But I can't wait to see them unleash on Miami. Again, when you're on the road, it's going to be a hostile environment. Just get through the first couple series of downs, right? And then the adjustments get made, and then hopefully you pop in a quick touchdown, even a field goal, and you start playing real good defense. I really believe that Max Bullock, God, what a savage.
Yeah,
I love that coach.
Yeah, you love the way he talks. And you know what Mike even said? You know what Goolsby said, the way he thinks about it? He said, you could tell that guy has not been able to hit the weights the way he used to be built. And Goolsby's like, I love it because it shows that he's into the coaching thing and like getting all into that, doesn't have the time to beef up the way he used to be. He's like, I can tell he's getting down to business. I love it, man. And so, Tom, this is going to be really interesting. This is an important week, and we'll see if any news comes out later in the week and after the scrimmage of maybe if they figure things out. So I don't know.
When are they scrimmaging, Saturday or Sunday?
That's a good question. I just know it's this weekend. I don't recall exactly which day. And so we'll see if we get any news, Tom. And then, Tom, before we let you go, I know you're having a medical procedure later in the week. God bless you. Our thoughts are with you. Hope you come out of that all right.
Oh, yeah. Much appreciated. All the love and everything. I appreciate it, everybody. It probably won't happen on Monday, so I got to go in the hospital on Friday, but we'll be good. No question. It's just preventive. I actually said, can we move it up to Friday? He said, why? What's the hurry? And I said, I got to be at the Purdue Notre Dame game. Yeah. Come on now. Get on my schedule.
Where's your priorities? Come
on. I need 2 weeks to heal. But I said, look, if I have to play hurt, you give me a walking boot. I'll play it. Put me in, coach. I don't smoke.
Man, I love it, Tom. Stay in touch, buddy. Let's talk before that, or give me a call from the hospital like you did last time, scaring all the nurses and the help.
Oh my God! Yeah, what a nutcase! I'm surprised they didn't send the guys with the white coats on and put me in a rubber room.
Yeah, you're going to a different floor. Right. You're going to a different floor, Tom. All right, I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you. See ya.
God bless. Go Irish.
Oh, Tom, dude, he was literally calling me from the hospital. He was literally giving me a call from the hospital. There's beeping machines. I hear all these nurses. They're like, what's your pain level like? And Tom's on the phone yelling to me about Notre Dame. It was hilarious. God bless the Northwestern people. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. It's so funny. We'll get Martinez in here. And then if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. We're doing good here. This is a dangerous game, John. You want to name a QB this week to get them comfortable and game ready. 18 days away from the actual game with no starter. I get it. I totally understand. This is the official deadline, is this scrimmage and this weekend that you would want. We've gone over it before. 3 weeks camp, 2 weeks Miami prep. At that break, when it transitions to Miami prep, you want to have your guy named. The argument would be, if you still don't know or whatever, and you need more data, do you run it any further than that to get more data? And it's taking away from Miami prep, but you could argue that if you sorted something out, it may be worth it if you get the natural separation you're looking for. And the other argument is, I mean, how many weeks do these guys need to separate? We're just going to have to pick somebody if nobody is. I'm open to that argument, Strop City. If you're like, dude, we don't have a month for you guys to be equal, both throwing bad throws or whatever. We're picking a guy. It ain't where you want to be. I think everybody was fine with the quarterback competition. You just kind of figured somebody would own it. I think everybody was kind of excited about a natural quarterback position with homegrown guys, but you wanted someone to separate the way my body did from my soul during the Bush push, right? You just wanted a little separation, like my body and my soul, where they parted ways as I stood there and watched that happen in front of me. I still say, you guys, I drove all the way home. I don't remember the drive at all. It's the scariest thing. I do not remember one thing. I do not remember driving home at all. I was totally whacked out. Totally whacked out. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. My main man, Martinez.
Hey, John, how are you?
What's up, baby?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not down the shaft, am I?
No, not too bad.
Okay, hold on. Two things. What I tell you, what Mr. Foley just ended this call with. One name I told you last call, Max Bulla.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Foley knows this stuff. Mr. Foley knows this stuff. Second, hey, you ever remember watching There's Something About Mary? He goes, pain, what I wouldn't give what it pain feels. What I wouldn't give to know what pain feels like. You didn't consider it, prick. Yeah. Remember when his back is messed up?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about pain, driving home with a bush push pain, driving home. How about watching it being incarcerated with a bunch of douchebags telling you, oh, man, you guys didn't come through. You're inconsiderate. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Johnny.
Hey,
I'm just kidding. Hey, Johnny, what's up? What's up, buddy?
How are you thinking about this quarterback thing? How should we, where is your mind frame at with this? It's getting to be crunch time.
With the QB thing? Is that what you asked? Here, what's up?
Yeah. I just want to know where your head's at with it.
You know, I've never been a big believer in Carr because of his last name. I think he's athletic. I think he's got the pedigree. I think remember, I watched his last high school game and people say it was his O-line. It was his O-line. But, I mean, one thing that I'm thinking about right now, as Tom was talking real quick, and I'll make it quick, and I'll get in, I'll make it out. Denbrock has been there. He's been in Notre Dame, right? He's seen it, whether we've had tight ends or not tight ends, quarterbacks or not quarterbacks. I really think, John, that they're gonna bring Minchie in to get things going. And if Carr beats him out and he's the gunslinger, man, hey, even more power to him. Like I said, it'd be a Disney story, right? The son of the the grandson of Gaylord Carr with the old Buckeye leading Notre Dame back to glory. Like I said before, that'd be awesome. But I honestly think, man, that Denbrock's been there before, and his experience with being at Notre Dame, the tight ends, the running backs, the power running game that we've had, and his style, that he'll make the adjustments that he needs. And then Andrew, I'll give Andrew credit on this. It is up to Gaduli and Denbrock this year to show what they have. with this new quarterback. It's really going to test them as coaches to see what they have. But Johnny, honestly, man, like we got so many aspects, man. We got, Tom just hit it on the head right now. They got the DMs to worry about, the linebackers. Hopefully that D tackles make that big push. But I understand the QB is the one position that everybody looks at. Everybody, right? The analysts. Everybody's watching the QB. They're not watching the left tackle. Did he make that block? They're not watching if the running back stepped the right way. If the receiver came down and crashed on the linebacker. They're watching that quarterback, bro. So I get it. But John, man, like I'm over it. I think we got so many other moving parts going, man, that we're not focused on, man. Like that new D. You got a new D coordinator in Miami, and he needs to gel 27 new personalities.
Yeah.
And obviously, our class act friend, Coach Mike Elko, love him to death. He's a defensive genius, man. And he had to do it last year against A&M. And it did it. I mean, and we was able to overcome then. So I think we'll be fine, John.
Yeah,
I think we'll be fine.
Man, it's just the pressure's building, and I feel it in the fan base. We'll see what happens, and we'll rally behind the guy that's the starter, and we'll go from there. Hey, man, it means the world to me that you call from the work side every day, man. I love you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, Johnny, sorry, man. I want to tell you, hey, see, me and Mr. Frawley were brought up the same branch in the dark alley. I love you guys, man. Tom, God bless. We'll be saying prayers for you guys for his procedure, man. Onward, Notre Dame, John.
Have a good one, buddy. Stay safe out there in the heat and with all that heavy-duty equipment, man. That dude's doing manual-ass labor, and he's calling in here. The focus it takes to be doing all that and yelling at your guys at the construction site while you're on hold talking to me. I love that guy. You want to talk about multitasking. Here's the deal. There's a Roberts on hold, and I know it isn't Tony, but it doesn't say the first name. I'm wondering if it's Ryan, and maybe we'll pop him on and get his perspective on that. We'll see if it's him, and if it isn't, no offense to anybody calling in named Roberts. You can give us your takes too. But Ryan's been here in the morning a little bit, covers Notre Dame. We'll bring that up, and we'll see if it is indeed him. If you're on a hold, you're going to be on the air. So let's hit us a Tom Frawley promo here, and we'll see if it's Ryan Roberts. We'll bring him up. Like to introduce you to City Cheers, the super app changing the way you go out. City Cheers is giving every bar, restaurant, club, and golf course in America a free app. That's right, completely free. For venues, it's your own branded platform to promote events, specials, and live music straight to your guests' phones. For guests, you get perks, loyalty rewards, and Express Check, a game changer that lets you view, tip, and pay your tab right from your phone. No waiting, no lines, no wallet, no problem. Most places even give you money off your first visit using the app. Whether you're behind the bar or sitting at the bar, City Cheers makes the experience better. Patrons, download the app and see for yourself. For venue management, call friend of the show and loyal Notre Dame son, Tom Frawley, to get started. 773-332-7742. And be sure to tell him Always Irish sent you. Tom Frawley, I love him. I did get the chat off just in time for the phone number there. It's in the description, by the way. I always forget to do that. I hit it there. And so here's the thing I want to throw out, just to balance the scales a little bit. There is a part of me that there is a chance, whoever this quarterback is and all the worry you have, that the guy plays fine against Miami. I'm just throwing that out there. And we could debate what the percentage likelihood is that there's all these concerns with what the media sees and is reporting. What are the odds of that the guy, the bright lights, and he turns it on and it all clicks? I'm just saying there's an angle there that you need to be open to, that a guy goes in there and plays fine. There's no guarantee whoever we put in there is going to struggle. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, I would think it'd be more likely that in that environment, a guy would than not, but I'm just balancing it out there. There's no guarantee, you got to sit there waiting for bad things to happen to check your box. So whatever. I don't know. I'm just asking. And so I don't know. Somebody's asking what's with I wanted to change the color up for the promos, and I just put a different hue on the screen to mix it up and let people know it was something different. That's all that is. Let's see if it is indeed Ryan 856 in the mix. Is this you?
What's that? Yeah, it's me. It is me.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Hey, thanks for dropping by lately. We see you in the chat.
Yeah.
A lot of people reading your stuff on A to Z. A lot of people reading it. Ryan, thanks for joining. I'd love to hear where you think this all stands and how you think Notre Dame fans should or are processing everything going on.
No, man, no, I appreciate you for letting me come on for a couple minutes. I don't do live shows anymore, so I kind of missed it, to be honest with you. So I'm excited to talk it, and obviously I've been in the chat a few times, like you said. John, I mean, it's such a weird balance right now for me with the quarterback debate, because there are, and I think one of the callers just said it, there are so many other players and positions that are still not fully settled that I do want to have the conversation deeper on, but unfortunately, it's all people want to talk about. And I fully understand it, right? I mean, a quarterback is the most important position, not just in football and all the sports. So, like, I understand that people want to talk about it. And I also think that this is semi-media created. And I might be a part of this, to be honest. You know, like, I mean, I'm part of the media. So, like, I have probably created some parts of this narrative. But the perception of going into this quarterback battle, the day the season ended and people, you know, were moving forward to the 2025 season was, you have CJ, you have Steve Angeli, you have Kenny Minchey. How do those guys balance out against one another? Well, even when Steve was still a part of the conversation, most people thought that it was CJ's job to lose, right? Because of the perception of who he is, what he was as a recruit, what we've seen in the blue and gold games the last 2 years, like all those things together have created the narrative that this was CJ by a landslide. And in reality, it hasn't been CJ by a landslide. And you have to give part of the credit to Kenny Minchey. But when I know people are saying, like, you want someone to show that they're the guy. Well, guys, this wouldn't really be a conversation if Kenny didn't improve this offseason, right? Like, he has improved. This is a legitimate battle. And I kind of wrote it the other day. The longer this thing lasts, I do think that Kenny has a legitimate chance to win. And I am moving over to that bandwagon of, the further we get, I do think that this is a possibility that it is Kenny. And it's strengthening by the day is the best way for me to put it. Not necessarily saying that he's won it. I'm not saying that people behind the scenes have told him he's the guy and they're just waiting on the date to announce it. But I think that bandwagon of Kenny is starting to strengthen a lot. And I know Mike has been on that. Goolsby has been talking about that a lot. And, you know, I've talked to Mike about it. And I think that we see a lot of similar parallels with just kind of how this thing is going. So it could end up being CJ in the end. And if it is, fine. I mean, why do we want Notre Dame to recruit the quarterback position better previously? I mean, we went through a few years where it was like Brendan Clark and Drew Pine, and like, it wasn't good, right? Like, why did you want Kenny, then CJ, then Noah, then Teddy Gerard? Like, why do you want all these guys to come in? It's because you want the quarterback battles that are going to ensue because that you have that much talent in here. So I think just taking a breath for a second, sitting back, enjoying this for what it is. You have two talented quarterbacks that are duking it out, and I think no matter who ends up winning it, I think that you will be in a good spot. It might look semi-different depending on who does win it, but I do think Kenny is very, like, I do think this is a neck-and-neck thing, and I do think that Kenny has a legitimate chance to win, opposed to, I think, what a lot of narratives have been out there that this has just been CJ all along.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting when I look at like the 1 foot down poll that had 76% of respondents that were saying Carr should be the starter. They want him to be the starter. That's 3/4 of the people, without either one playing in a real game yet and seeing what that's like. Where do you think that comes from? Meaning, is that all the CJ Carr last name, Michigan lore, the recruiting buildup and what a big deal it was when he committed, versus Kenny was looked at as, go get him from Narduzzi to give him something else to complain about at Pitt. And we whiffed on the 5-star Dante Moore that was a silent commit for all those months we were hearing about whatever. Like, I think a lot of this started with the perception of how they both got to Notre Dame. And it's been uneven ever since, just from that being in people's minds. One was like a throw in at the end because you whiffed on the big target. And the other guy was Michigan royalty with the name and everything else. Is that where the imbalance is? Because I haven't seen enough from either guy to know on the field where they're at. Is that it?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely part of it for sure. I think especially from obviously just the general fan base because, again, like they don't have media doesn't barely get any access to these guys. And obviously the general public gets even less, right? So, like, you are relying just based upon the information that you have. And the information you have is stars, offer lists, and 5 passes between the two, right? And CJ hasn't even thrown a pass in his college career yet. So you just don't have a sample size to really look at it and say, I have a firm understanding of who's who, who's what, other than 2 blue gold games. And like blue gold games are important. Like it gives you some more data to that collection. But I mean, Nate Montana once upon a time was a star of the blue and gold games. Like it doesn't fully matter. Like these scrimmages don't really matter. The practices in the spring is what actually matters. So I think the perception is absolutely there, right? Like CJ is, I always joke about it like he's the golden child in a lot of Notre Dame fan base. And part of it is very deserved. Like he's talented, right? Like he didn't have all those offers and he wasn't rated the way he was just because his last name was Carr. Like CJ is talented. There's no doubt about it. And when they got him, you're like, oh man, he stuck it to Michigan. Lloyd Carr's grandson. You see Lloyd with like, what do you wear? Notre Dame hat or Notre Dame shirt? I can't remember, right? But like that's cool. That's awesome. Like that's a really cool story.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, a Carr is going to lead Notre Dame back to the promised land. That is fun. On Kenny's side, you mentioned it. Like he was a Pitt commit with Coach Narduzzi, and you had to flip him late. But I would say that the one thing that people do need to like realize, two-part on Kenny, is one, after the Dante Moore fiasco happened, there was a very small number of quarterbacks that they turned to that were guys that they wanted. Kenny Minchie was one of them. Aiden Childs, who's now at Michigan State, there was at Oregon State, was another. There were a couple quarterbacks that they liked, that they turned to quickly. So it wasn't like Kenny was like
was an Elite 11 guy, wasn't he? He was competing in the Elite 11. Like he had his own like credibility there, but it wasn't the big shiny Dante Moore because that narrative was so heavy for so long with Freeman landing that guy and all that. Like it wasn't that, and it changed people's eye level, and I think set the tone. All right, Ryan, let me ask you this. Let's play this out a little bit down the road, okay? Play this out.
Okay.
Let's roll. Let's say the narrative right now feels a little Kenny leaning from the reporting and the vibe everybody's getting. Let's say that plays out and it ends up being Kenny. What sort of leeway does Kenny have early in the year with these 2 big games? That is where my mind goes next is, say he wins it. How much patience is there in the Miami game? If things go a little sideways, do you go to Carr or do you have an obligation to say, we picked this guy, we believe in him, and we need to let him work through things? What do you think that patience level's like? Because I could see that complicating things or being the right move, and I don't know how to view that. How do you think that would play out with the leash there, the leeway?
I would hate if there's a really small leash on it. I know some people are going to say your 2 biggest games are, back to back to start the year, right? Like you need to beat Miami, you need to beat Texas A&M, you need at least split. But like if you won 2, that's obviously you're putting yourself in a great situation for the rest of the year. But you have been raging in this quarterback competition for months and months and months, and eventually you name a starter. I don't think it's right after all that hard work and to have this immediate leash, like. Because I think that some people, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, like I think your question's coming from, if he's struggling against Miami, like let's say he has a bad half of football, do you come out the second half and say, hey, maybe we need to change something up here? Because and maybe it works, right? Like we've seen that in Notre Dame before where it's like a change up to completely alter a football game. But I do think the other side of it is we are talking about 2 very inexperienced quarterbacks who do have confidence, right? And do need confidence. And the minute that you make that move, you are creating a whole other just battle of a conversation and a controversy that will it be fixed immediately? Like, I mean, maybe I mean, look, there's different worlds that this happens, but like maybe if that happens and CJ becomes the guy and you never look back and he just ascends to being that starter, like we've also seen that storyline. But there is also the other storyline where you kind of fracture a locker room, because I think that's one thing that we don't talk about enough. And again, we're not privy to this information enough of, is that right or wrong, just or unjust, whatever, there is going to be some people on the Notre Dame team side, right? The players. Let's talk about the coaches, what the coaches think and the media think and what the and what the fans think. And all that stuff is very important. But there's also players involved here. And right or wrong, and people can pretend like this isn't a thing if they want, but there are going to be some players that back one player more. There are going to be other players in the locker room that back the other player more.
Yeah.
And I don't know which, like, I will say this. I think that there are definitely some people in that building that are very pro Kenny Minchie, right? Like, I think that there is a lot of belief in that young man, but I also think it's the same with CJ Carr. I think it is. But when that conversation happens of making a switch or having a short leash, you need to be mindful of your locker room, because if you make the wrong decision, because there's also the other world that, hey, if you pull Kenny Minchie because he's struggling a little bit, there's a possibility that CJ Carr does worse. I mean, like that also possibly exists, right?
Yeah.
And then if that controversy continues, what's the next step, and how do you recapture the locker room as far as being a cohesive unit? Like that is the battle that you have to fight at that point.
Yeah, it's just such a complicated dynamic. And it's like, I'm with you where there's so many other things you would like to focus on and write articles and do videos about, but it's like, this is just the big elephant in the room and it gets so much attention. It's like unavoidable. Like it's almost unavoidable. So I don't know how this is going to go. Let me ask you this. You're pretty good with looking at film and doing that kind of stuff. Do you believe there would be a big difference in the offensive approach with Geno and Denbrock setting up the offense the first two games, depending on which player it is? Or will it be little tweaks of things that one's comfortable with or the other, and you could throw them in wrinkles or little options there? Like, how different do you think the offensive strategy would be one guy to the other?
I mean, obviously the system's not changing at all, right? So like you're not curtailing a full system to one player versus the other. I think they are both they're similar enough as pure passers to be able to operate the same type of system, right? And the same strategy and the same route combinations. Like it's not going to change that a ton. In a Kenny Minchie offense, would you be more willing to run a little zone read or power read off of things, or even a little bit more RPO extension off of things at times with the running element? It's possible, but you have that in your arsenal already, right? Like, but the key is, I think, to answer it is hopefully as directly as I can, John, is like, I don't think it changes a lot. Like, we're not talking about like Riley Leonard versus Peyton Manning here, right? Yeah. Like it's not that much of a difference. Maybe on 3rd and 1, you might figure like, hey, maybe a quarterback power to make sure you get that 1 yard, especially with Keegan Young out now. Like maybe that's the thing that you go. But like I don't think it changes the strategy much. Maybe it changes the emphasis part of the offense. Like maybe one quarterback has a more ability to push the ball down the field comparatively to the other. I don't think that there's a huge separation there either. So I think other than maybe just a situational football type of thing on like 3rd and short, 4th and short, or maybe a little bit more RPO game. Other than that, I don't think there's a ton of differences, honestly, in these two. That
makes perfect sense. And then, Ryan, before I let you go, I want to give you this opportunity. Yeah. I'm sure you're going to appreciate it. I'm sure you are. Okay. I would like to give you the opportunity to go over anything in your mind that has struck you as interesting or should be more of a narrative this camp that hasn't gotten the attention you think it should because of all the quarterback stuff going on. What is a narrative you think is underrated here that should get more run and it isn't right now?
Yeah, if I can get two real quick, if you don't mind. Sure. I think that one is, I think it's Jalen Sneed is one. I posted about this the other day, and I did a video about it. Jalen Sneed has been one of these guys where, and obviously everyone knows, 5-star 2021 recruiting class, state of South Carolina, incredibly talented football player. But we've kind of been waiting for that. We've been kind of waiting for everything to really click with him, right? Like he's a great athlete. He's got length. He can play on this first level. He can rush off the edge. He can do a lot of different things. And he's played Rover. He's played Will. Like he's done a lot of different things in his Notre Dame career. But it never really has fully, tangibly gone from talent to full-time production. Like he's been productive in spurts, in situational roles. But this offseason, there's something different about him this offseason. Like, and one part is the two biggest things that I'd want to see him improve, because again, he's talented, is one, the weight, right? Like, because he's played Rover a lot earlier in his career, especially. He's, been between 215 to 220 throughout most of his career. He's over 230 plus pounds, and Coach Bulla talked about there in his press conference. and he's holding the weights, and it hasn't sacrificed athleticism. So I think that's one big thing. Now, if he can play a little bit more between the tackles, get off the blocks more efficiently, that type of thing. But then I'm telling you, and this is a little bit of a sicko talk here, but I listened to the media availability the other day with Snead over the weekend and Drake and all those guys. And in the past, I could tell that Jalen, not that he's not an engaging person, but he didn't really come off as this guy that was like overly confident when he talked and overly open to media and just kind of, next steps. Like he just didn't. I would implore anybody, like, go back and listen to just Jalen Snead in the past. And it's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like he was very just kind of closed off and not, didn't sound process oriented and like all those types of things. He sounded like a different cat to me this past weekend. Like I was like, he sounds like mentally it's come along and he's comfortable. His body is now carrying that weight and that physical development has come.
Yeah.
I have been a big prove it to me, Jalen, right? Like prove it to me. You have Kingston, obviously. You have Jaden Osbury. You have a bunch of other guys that can play that will position next to Drake Bowen. You can mix and match a little bit. But I'm buying into the Jalen Snead hype, man. I really am. I think that this is actually the breakout year. I've been kind of like in show me mode with Snead.
Yeah.
But I do think that he has an opportunity to do that. And the only other guy, and I won't go long-winded on this one, is I think Jason Onye is going to have a big year. Like I do. There's been a lot of conversation about, Jared Dawson, Donovan Heinisch, Gabriel Rubio. I think the floor of that position is higher. The ceiling might not be quite there because you don't know if you have a Riley Mills or Howard Cross when Howard Cross is healthy. But you do know that you have more capable bodies inside, so the floor has risen in that room. But if there's one guy that takes that monumental step, I think it's going to be Onye because he's now over 300 pounds. He has the ability to play nose and three technique. I really think that he's going to surprise a lot of folks this year.
Oh, man, that's good stuff. I know Goolsby's with you with the Snead. He's on his radar like a top guy he's looking at for a breakout prove-it year. Like, got to have it. If it's going to happen at a big level, it's going to be this year type thing. One more thing, if you have time for it. What are your feelings on the Notre Dame offensive line? That is one of the biggest things that's going to be able to help whoever the quarterback is ease into this season in a hostile environment. What is your belief in the O-line and the way that's shaping up?
I think it'll be an improved group based on what it was last year. Because you have 4 or 5 guys coming back that were projected to be starters before the fall started, and obviously with the Jagasaw injury, you were able to. I think with it being early enough, you were able to get some more mental reps for Sullivan Absher even before the fall started. And by everyone that has been talking about him, like Sullivan has been pretty good. I know he missed 1 day of practice. I don't know. I don't think it was a serious thing, obviously, because he was back at practice at the very next opportunity. But I think Sullivan is capable and he will at least be a solid player at right guard. But I do think that we're hearing now more and more that Gerby Lambert is starting to come on a little bit. Like, right guard will at least be a solid to good group. Will be as good as what Jagasaw could have been. Probably not at least early on in the season until Jags gets back. But I think that position is going to be good enough with the ascension of Anthony Nat, with hopefully a full season of health from Ashton Craig, with Billy Schroff taking a step forward, with Neil Wagner being at least solid to good. I think all that together, I think the offensive line is going to be better than it was last year.
Man, there's just so much to see and so many layers to all this. And then you combine it with the early schedule, and it's just the most Notre Dame-y thing you could imagine as far as narrative and perception. Like, with all of these questions combined with that schedule and the front half, this is going to be really interesting. Ryan, thanks a lot for joining us. Tell everybody where they can find your material. I want to make sure that everybody can find it.
Yeah, no, A to Z Sports. If you obviously Notre Dame fans on the channel, but if you want to read about other schools as you're getting ready for matchups and playoffs and all that type of stuff, we have it all over there, NFL-centric stuff as well. But if you just want to follow me at Rising Draft on Twitter, I post all the links to the content, videos, all that type of stuff. But appreciate you for having me on, man.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Ryan. You mentioned you don't do live streams. Every once in a while you get the itch for it. This is the place for that. If you want to hop in, I'll send you a link sometime. If you gotta get that itch in you, this is the place to be. I'll shoot you a link. You could hop on, man.
All right, yeah, that sounds good, man. As long as the daughters are in school and all that type of stuff, I'll be sure to hit you up. That sounds great.
I appreciate it. Hey, have a really good day. Thanks for being around. Thanks for the content today. Have a good one, man.
You too, man. Have a good day.
Thanks. Oh, man, that guy, he follows Notre Dame closely, folks. All over it. That was beautiful. I love that, man. It's nice to have people drop in like that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You guys are funny in the chat. Man, you guys, it's a rough scene sometimes in here. Tim, what's going on? Welcome.
Hold on a second, John.
What's going on, buddy?
I'm not stressed. We haven't thrown 2 picks in the first half of Miami. We're not 0-2. I'm going to give this coaching staff the benefit of the doubt. Let them pick the best guy. I know the quarterback's a very important position. I get it. But we do have a lot of talent. And also these picks that are happening, you realize they're going up against one of the best secondaries in the country. It's only going to make them better. I don't understand why people lose their minds. The other thing I don't get, this poll about who should be a starting quarterback. Are you there day in and day out? No, you're not. You're not paid millions of dollars to make decisions. Who cares? You should be behind Notre Dame, not a kid. You want the kid to do well. I care. Give us the best chance to win. And there's a lot of talent there.
That's the interesting thing about the poll. When it's 3 quarters one way than the other and no one's played a game, it makes me wonder where that perception is coming from to be 3 quarters one way, because I personally do not have enough data on either guy to know for
why?
sure.
The recruiting hype. That's why everybody loses their mind off recruiting.
Yeah, I think
Mitchie didn't get the recruiting hype.
I think
Carr did.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and we've talked about it. And then the other thing is, like you said, whatever, you get a competition, relax, let the best guy win it. That's the concern, Tim, is people are worried that a best guy is not emerging. So that's the word. Like, we get what you're saying of like, let the best guy win, and somebody like the problem right now is it doesn't seem like either guy has really separated, and that's the anxiety, because what are the odds? Both are at such an elite level. They're battling it out at an elite level. That's the worry.
That's a fair point, but let them develop out. We don't need them in the first couple games. We just need to somehow survive and win. There's enough other talent around this team that if we can just pull out a win, I think everybody, because that's today's new football. I know I grew up with the triple option with Holt and stuff. I understand it's anacardic football, but just do enough. Run the ball 20, or throw the ball 20 times, 25 times in the first game or two. Not like the thing Kelly did in the monsoon.
Yeah.
Just do enough. You don't think they're going to gear the offense to the guy's skills?
Yeah.
Everybody acts like they've already failed. Have we? I don't think so.
Yeah, dude, that's a really interesting dynamic, Tim, is you feel like you're a little behind of like where your comfort level would be of within a week and a half of camp, one guy rises right above the other one. You know who it is. We're already down that road, right? And you're just not there. And so it's like this balance of how long can you run it out to get the separation versus at some point, you're just going to have to name a guy and roll with it. I don't know. Maybe
I think you've made a very.
I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I don't know what I was saying.
You made a very key point. You made a great point. By the end of it's like the NCAA basketball tournament. By the end of the year, I hope to God we're at minimum. I'd like to be 11-1 or 10-2, and I think 10-2 does get us in. But do enough to get in. What the problem is that if we have a couple mishaps and we don't get in, I think by the end of the year, this team could be very good and a more experienced quarterback. That's why I think we could be a year away. But let's just say, let's go to the positive side for once in life. What if this quarterback takes off? If he does with the talent that's around him, I think we could win the title. I really do.
You know what, Tim? That's the least talked about part of all this is regardless of what you think in camp, once the games start, none of it really matters anymore. Like there is no guarantee that it's going to be awful against Miami and that whatever, like once you get into that game, there is a percentage chance that guy adjusts fine. And there's a couple learning moments, but they're not game losing learning moments. And the guy develops, and then you have all the other good pieces of this team. And if you get through the early part of the schedule, it lightens up in the second half, and then you could cruise to the playoff. Like there's no guarantee it's going to be bad. It's just people are going to worry.
We can worry, but let's go back to the coaching staff of last year. Look what they overcame with all the injuries. That's why I have faith in this coaching staff. I really do. And if you're not sold on Marcus Freeman by now, you need to go root for another team, please. We don't need you as a fan.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are some people saying you had one good little run there, made the playoff and made it run. You got to do something else. Not everybody's fully bought in on Freeman from what we saw last year. There's a lot of people that want to see staying
But they
power.
were bought on that clown Kelly? Give me a break.
Yeah.
You want to compare and contrast on what Freeman versus Kelly was?
Yeah, Yeah,
I'll win that one.
It is, man, this is just, I understand the stress here. I don't want to, I'm with WPP though. At some point, we have an obligation to turn our attention to Miami. Fully understand, like, it is a distraction now, and I'm not seeing a lot of people talking Miami because you need to know what we're going to battle with before you worry about the battle.
Well, here's the other thing. Not that I'm not a big gambler, but Vegas built big buildings for a reason. Look at the over/under, what our season total is, and they think, as far as I know, I think we're favored in every game. I know everybody's going to say Northern Illinois, but they also said that people don't think Marcus Freeman's a good coach. You know, he has one of the top covers against the point spread.
Yep.
So the man's done a great job. People are selling him short because he lost a couple tough games. So did Lou Holtz. So did Eric Persigan. So did Dan Devine. The only person that probably ran ropshot over everybody was your boy.
Of course. There he is. Frankly, in the Fighting Irish.
Which would have annoyed somebody because he used to love to run the score up, which he did.
Yeah. Oh, he was an expert at doing that. I'm with you, man. We're going to see. Maybe we'll get some answers this weekend. Things will calm down. You'll know who it is, and then we'll all rally.
I think the scrimmage is Sunday, John.
Yeah.
I think that's when they said Marcus Freeman's doing his next press conference.
Yeah, and we'll see. And you know what? Goolsby suggested on Patreon the other day, he said, if we have that big scrimmage this weekend and this is undecided, he said, if I'm Freeman, I'm putting the pressure on these guys and I'm telling them before this one matters. So let's see what's going on. That's what I've seen a lot of like, this one matters and let's see what you guys got to put the pressure on. So I don't know.
Or you bury it and don't tell Miami. Make them get ready for both.
Yeah, and I don't know if you could pull that off. I feel like the media is going to find out if
you're
there's a
right.
number one. That's tough to figure out. Even if you limit media access, I feel like word's going to slip out if they know one's going to be a starter. So, Tim, I don't know, but it's going to be a narrative until it isn't. And then when
we got to kill 2 weeks, John.
Yeah, this is going to be 2.5 weeks here. I think things will level out. If a guy gets named, we'll know what we're going to battle with. People will rally behind the guy, and it'll settle a little bit. But there is a general malaise of uncertainty here. But don't let it stress you out, Tim. We'll talk soon.
Oh, no, I don't know on this. I'll stress out after we play. One last question. Appreciate you taking the call. We haven't heard any more injuries, right? For the love of God.
Well, I mean, you got a couple running backs then. If Aeneas got hurt and you already down Kedron, so you're losing some guys there.
The tight end, which hurts.
Yeah,
that tight end really hurts because
Eli Reardon's got to stay healthy because he looks like a cyborg. Eli Reardon's kind of got to stay healthy, or you're in a weird spot at tight end then for sure. He's got to stay healthy.
But I've heard a freshman running back is pushing for time.
Yeah,
so he could have would.
Yeah, I don't.
Could be what Young might have been.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to figure out. Like if Aeneas Williams was that usual third down back, what you're going to want to do with that beyond Love and Price. And so we'll see how it's going to go, man. It's but yeah, at least we just need games to get here, Tim. And we just need games. We need to know what we're working with. Everybody's losing it. Hey, thanks for calling, man. Have a good Wednesday.
Take care, John. Have a good day.
Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah.
How much time you got, buddy? John, you should do a show after they announce QB starter. I'm sure we'll do something. The thing is, if it's going to be on a Sunday or something, we maybe just do the Monday show. It'll depend on the timing. But obviously, that's going to be breaking, very large breaking news. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. 301 and 603 coming up. 301, let's have some fun. What's up?
What's going on, John? How you doing?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out the realities of all this. Like, that's where I'm struggling with. I'm really trying to figure that out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Ryan Roberts hit on a lot of the points I was thinking about the quarterbacks, but something Gaduli said in his press briefing and then something that Goolsby said kind of changed my perception a little bit about what's going on. And I think, like, with the quarterbacks in general, I think both are doing a great job, and it's not a problem that they're horrific or anything like that. I think they're both doing really good. I think multiple things are true at the same time. I think that we as a fan base slept on Kenny Minchie because of the hype of Carr. At the same time, I do think Carr had a really, really good spring and capped that off of a great spring game that built a lot of hype. And Gaduli said, I don't know if you caught it, he said that basically to the effect that CJ has a lot of ups and downs emotionally.
Yeah.
Like he talked about him, like, having, high highs and then like his emotion, where if you look at Kenny Mitchie is this even keel cool. And Goolsby said it too on the show recently, where he said CJ Carr wants to be great. I think all quarterbacks want to be great, but CJ Carr wants to be great. Like the story of Ian Book came this summer, and Kenny Mitchie's just kind of hanging out, and CJ Carr is asking him a million questions. It's almost like after this great spring, we as a fan base hyped up CJ Carr. Now all the pressure is on him, who already had his internal whatever, because he wants to be great. And everybody's sleeping on Minchie, so Minchie's playing with house money, so he's just going to work his butt off, go out there, and then do his best. And I think, Carr still has this great upside, and Carr, just like Kenny, I think both of them could be great, but right now, I think Carr, there's that little bit of like, okay, I need to defend him off, I need to be great, and that pressure. And this is just we don't really know this to be true, but those two comments kind of hit me, where it's just like, yeah, I think you have the even keel guy and then like another guy who's really full potential to be great, but like we hyped him up to this, this podium, and now he's got to like live up to our fan view. Is that the reality? Who knows?
Yeah, I think I am convinced entering all this, there was more pressure on Carr, right? Like, because he was kind of the perceived leader in the clubhouse or whatever, for whatever reason. And he came in with all that fanfare and the last name and the whole thing. I feel like there's been more pressure on CJ. And then maybe that frees Kenny up to just ball, because it's like, what do I have to lose? I'm chasing. I'm not perceptually leading, whether that's reality or not. Like, that's a thought. And then I also think that the personality differences are really interesting. It's just kind of like Kenny's stable, flatline, no matter what. And then Carr runs kind of hot with the wave of like whatever up or down or around. I think that's an interesting, underrated piece of this, is that leadership style, and psychologically how these guys both operate is very differently. And I find that very interesting.
And I think like we as like a fan base have to remember like they're kids, and sometimes that kind of those players that have a lot of emotion and a lot of drive to be great, sometimes that really pays off. Like your Tom Brady's, your Joe Montana's, who, they've pushed themselves to get better and better. But then sometimes that could be a Phil Jakovic, that could be Tyler Buckner deciding to go to Alabama, like these quarterbacks sometimes that then start to get in their head, like Everett Golson, when he came back from his time off from Notre Dame and he tried to return, like he really got in his head. Like Wimbush at one point just got into his head and spiraled.
Yeah.
But then like, even though we criticize Ian Book a lot, when Ian Book, the entire fan base wrote him off, then he goes into that Virginia Tech game and pulls it out. And like, he had some type of like grit or, fight to kind of battle back from that spiraling down, where like some quarterbacks have that, some quarterbacks don't. We don't know. Like, this is not a shot at CJ at all. I think CJ Carr could be amazing. I think Kenny Minchie could be amazing. I have no like favorite in the game right now. I just want the best quarterback to be the quarterback. But it just like those comments kind of, I think they're a little eye-opening.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, all the interweaving dynamics of all this are making it really. It's a lot to wrap your mind around, all the different angles, and so we're gonna have to see. Maybe you get an answer later on this week. Maybe we see that, and if not, it's just gonna make the flames go even higher. Anything else, my friend? Really good thoughts. Thank you.
No, John. Everybody kind of hit on the points. I just, want us to stay healthy, and, we as a fan base need to support the quarterback no matter who it is, because the people picking the quarterback know a lot more than we do.
Yeah, it's and I've also brought that up, man. We're only reacting to the information we have, and the media that's in there gets to see these little snippets of all these practice sessions. None of us, Denbrock and Gino, should have a lot more data and be a lot more further down the road on figuring this all out than we are. So you got to defer to that. If you're going to trust anybody, it's got to be Denbrock with 40-something years of looking at quarterbacks, dealing with personalities, and knowing what he's looking for and what he's dealing with. So there is some of that, but I understand the fans are going to be nervous till you see it, and it ends up being all right. Hey, thanks for a call on a Wednesday. Dial me up again.
Yeah, take care, John.
Have a good one. 301. Have a little fun. 603, you're talking to me. Phil, I should just quit Fireball and just do both. 603, what's going on? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, John. This is Pilney. I'm the Pilney from New Hampshire. History does repeat itself. As a Notre Dame fan, I'm maybe one of the few guys in this fan base who remembers era. And he won 2 national titles on play action and a strong running game. I remember watching this, and he didn't have superior quarterback play, but he had gritty running quarterbacks. And, I remember a Tom Clements type guy who you get Eric Pennick running and Wayne the Train Bullock, and they get sucked in on the run, and then Clements, he'll tuck it and run. So, when I look at the running quarterback, and in this is a compliment to the quarterback room and the quarterback coach. Whoever hired Gaduli should be getting a pay raise, because the quality and the superior development of these quarterbacks is quite evident. We can't come up to a decision because they're that good. So there's a lot to be proud of.
Do you think people will push back on you on that? Do you like, I'm seeing pushback on that of like people saying it's the opposite of that. You have 2 guys with these skill sets, but they're not playing good enough to separate and rise. Like, that's the worry, right? That it's not a competition between 2 guys playing at a high level, but that it's less than that is what's making people nervous. Like, and so I just don't know where we're starting from. I don't know the level here, and it's driving me nuts.
Well, nobody's going to know because they haven't had playing time, which is part of developing a quarterback room. If we had a JV game or, a scrimmage where you blow somebody out by 30 points, you get the subs in, and maybe you could have developed. But, we didn't have that luxury because we've been going for these hired guns every year, and every game is a must-win situation where we don't blow people out and create that cushion like Frank Leahy used to do and get the bench and the second team in. That's one of the secrets behind Frank when he would blow people out, back in the 40s. You get your subs in and develop your bench because you put the game away early. There's a beauty in that. Yeah. And, Notre Dame's never been a team to do that, so they really can't develop their skill positions as much as maybe other teams that do that.
Yeah.
When I look at the...
Go ahead.
I was thinking the mentality of Minchie reminds me of the mentality of Tony Rice, who was chill, didn't get super high or low. He's that he can run when things get dicey, he can tuck it and run, and it's nice to have. And that's Denbrock's go-to thing. CJ has the pressure of I remember guys like Blair Keel, rocket arm, super talent, but he would have confidence issues when he'd throw a pick in a game. But the guy was a superior athlete, and Gunnar Keel, his son. And these are Indiana products. I mean, he's a local guy, the Keels. And, sometimes all that pressure on Carr, he needs to work through that because he puts more pressure on himself, maybe forcing the ball, in the coverage when he wants to make that big play. That's a bad habit to get into. We don't have an established wide receiver room yet where you could just throw a jump ball and be confident our guy's got to come down with it. We haven't traditionally had the wide receiver room to do that as a quarterback room. So, I don't think the team is ready for CJ Carr because when he's got the long ball threat, you got to have a wide receiver room that's going to go get it. And you got to trust that your guy's going to get it.
Yeah. And this is, it's going to be interesting. And then let me ask you this. whoever wins the job, how big of a leash do you think they have? How much leeway? That's an interesting dynamic too. If you pick a guy and he's struggling for half against Miami, and that's a game you feel you can't lose, are you tempted to let the other guy go in a couple series and see what happens? Or does that look bad because you're bailing on the guy you picked that said earn the job and then you gave him a quick hook? I don't have a good answer to that. I do not have a good answer to that problem if you end up in it. I don't.
I don't think the coaching staff will either. That's why it's going to be a run-heavy game. I think a package with a lot of run option. And I think that the game is tailor-made for Minchie to work out the bugs. And then if we get a cushion, we'll put C.J. Carr in. But I think this is a two-package game. And then remember Urban Meyer's first national title at Florida, he had a two-quarterback system. Tebow was a fourth-down package guy, and they put him in. So they were switching quarterbacks. And they did that all the way to the title.
Yeah.
And so it is doable, to have two guys in a package, and that may be where they're leaning. He's only one in, whoever they pick, they're only one injury away. There's only one twisted ankle or one blindside hit, from the other guy going in. So
yeah, that's the other thing that needs to be spoken about here. I have some weird feeling both these guys could be very important and important moments in this Notre Dame season. That is the other thing. Whoever loses that job, do not write them off that they will not play a role. People get dinged up, people get banged up. Like you could just need a series here, a series there. If a guy gets dinged, like it could be one of the guys does get a little overwhelmed and you're totally out of sync and you need another couple series. Like anything could happen. Both these guys got to be prepared to go in there. Hey, man, really appreciate the call. Thanks for all of your contribution here. Anything else?
A Steve Angeli moment's coming this year. Somebody's going to have one of those two is going to have a Steve Angeli Penn State moment.
Yeah. That's in my mind as well, that both these guys got to be engaged. Hey, really appreciate the call. Crystal clear phone line. Great job. Thank you. Radio discipline. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Hey, what a nice, well-spoken gentleman, man. We have good callers. Sometimes I almost wish we had some more trolls. Not in the chat. We have plenty of that. But I mean, every once in a while, a good old prank phone call goes a long way to lighten the mood. I'm not asking for 80 of them, but every once in a while we'll get one, and it really does break it up, and it's interesting. It is interesting. Oh, man. Let's talk silver and gold to come back, and a couple more calls, wrap up If you're show. Like me, you've seen inflation eat away at your precious savings and watch the markets go unpredictably wild. This made me look into other ways to gain stable wealth over time. With that in mind, through the Always Irish community, I've been introduced to 7K Metals. 7K is helping everyday people like you and I gain access to real gold and silver, not stocks or paper promises, tangible assets. I've been able to consistently build a portfolio of gold and silver month after month without having to be an expert at all. You can simply sign up and start adding gold and silver to your portfolio every month, which is exactly what I do. I set it up, let it run, and have a little fun. It's about creating stable wealth through gold and silver. I believe in 7K so much, I decided to join as a full member. You get education, wholesale pricing that cannot be beat, easy purchasing, and cash outs with the Sound Money wallet. So if you're ready to take control of your financial future, visit my personal website, alwaysirishgold.com, via the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. You trust me. I trust 7K. Why not join today? This is not a membership. It's a movement. Silver and gold. I saw somebody earlier in the chat was like, what's with this John running advertisements during the show? What's the deal with it? We're running a business here, people. It ain't all just for fun and giggles around here. We're running a business. Johnny Boy's got bills to pay. So don't give me a hard time that we got a couple of sponsors here. That's the world we live in, man. 949, you're on the line. What's going on? Oh, he's calling from Miami or in the area. What's up?
I'm in the area still. They haven't kicked me out yet, though they've tried.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
What a great show, as always. This one particularly interesting just because the insights from all over the place.
Yep.
One thing that hit me as I'm listening and it's gone. I think it's going over everybody's head like a helium punt, unless I've missed it. It's been talked about, and I've missed it because I wasn't on the show, so shame on me. But that is this. Denbrock's been around.
Yep.
He knows what he's got. He's had both guys for more than just this fall.
Yep.
So he knows very well what he's got. And I think they're just playing this like a fiddle. And I love what I see. And the other thing is, you touched on it too. We're going to need them both. As the last caller said, we're going to need them both.
And I don't know what that looks like. Like, I'm not certain if that's an injury thing or if a young guy does get overwhelmed and you're out of sync and you just need to change the pace a little bit. Like, I am uncertain and uncommitted on what that looks like. I just got a feeling at some point both are going to be needed. That's where I'm at. And if people think that's a cop-out, like, I'm not saying one guy fails and you got to put – I don't know what it looks like, but it's a long season. I just got a feeling both guys got to be ready.
I'm with you. I'm like Pink Floyd, just comfortably numb with whoever wins it. They're both Irish. We're going to need them both. And I think in the end, we're going to be fine because we've got all the horses every place else. We've got
I like
depth.
that.
We're loaded. Yeah.
Ooh, man, you said comfortably numb. With this quarterback thing, I sit there late at night and I feel comfortably dumb to where I don't know to where I'm serious, man, because I don't know whether I'm overanalyzing things too much or not enough. Like, it's the uncertainty of the whole dynamic has me wondering if I'm overdoing it, if I'm not doing it enough. And it just leaves me in a place where you just yearn for clarity in the short term.
Well, I think it is a situation of where we are all overdoing it because it doesn't matter until kickoff. And Andy Wine and Cheese posted on Twitter, he said, 15 days from now seems more like more than it did when it was 150 days away.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're all eager, we're all anxious, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I do think it's unfortunate when I look at this. There's a lot of really good, interesting narratives surrounding this program this year, this team. And I do think it's a little unfortunate that a lot of those narratives are getting under the radar because of all the quarterback thing. I do think that kind of sucks because the buildup is usually a good time to look at all the different aspects of the team and write articles and make people think about it and highlight some rising players. Some of that's going away this time because it's also quarterback heavy. But at the same time, I totally understand why, because it's just that damn important. I get it. I totally get it.
Here's another way to look at that. It's going to be much easier for you to have content during the season.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot uncovered.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, man, it's the most Notre Dame thing in the world to think about, though. All of this drama going on, and your first two games are Miami and A&M. Like, it is the most Notre Dame thing to get the most attention on your moment that there could be. It's very Notre Dame, and I just hope they succeed in this moment, and we're overdoing it, man. There's no guarantee this new quarterback's going to be bad against Miami. I feel like people are baking that in almost. It could be fine. And the other parts of this team that are really good could help support the guy, and you could win while you're developing. Like, it isn't all guaranteed to be bad.
Yeah, I think we're in a great place. I'll make my call short and just wish you and everybody listening a great day, and God bless everybody listening, and go Irish.
Hey, keep your head on a swivel out there when you're interviewing people in the Miami streets about this game, all right? Keep your head on a swivel.
Hey,
I don't trust these people. I don't trust them.
I'm surprised that they're warming up when they see my shirt. They want to talk football and getting some interesting people, so it's uncanny that it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's
So
well, that's
maybe
good
we'll-
though. Yeah, you're and take your notes and give us a call back and report to us of what the vibe on the street is.
I am today because I have to go down to the Cuban Hood to get a used tire. So I'll do some inspection down there, see what we got. I'll report later.
Yeah, let's hear what we get, man. Have a good one, buddy.
Cheers.
See ya. That's good, dude. I feel like. Does anybody else feel like whenever he calls, he's like wandering around like Miami getting into trouble? It just cracks me up every time. Like, yeah, I'm going to this neighborhood. We'll see what happens. I just feel like he's wandering the streets of Miami looking for some smoke. He's looking for some trouble, baby. Bama Charlie says the caller is another brick in the wall. I'm going to tell you this. Nothing, not even substances, lower my blood pressure more than David Gilmour guitar solos. I have found over my life the one thing that literally I can feel the tension like relaxing me, David Gilmour guitar solos. There's something about the dreamy aspect of how he does that brings you to another place. There's something about it. Nothing real. And Brick in the Wall is just, it's one of my favorite little, just where it's inserted and it's just tight licks and just beautiful. Nothing relaxes me like David Gilmour guitar solos. I need more of them in my life, especially with all this Notre Dame stuff going on. Who is the crazy Bama person that comments all over John's videos? I get asked that all the time. I have no idea, bro, but there is some reason that guy is obsessed with it. I have no idea who he is. I've never interacted with him. I don't know. I don't have a beef with the guy. I have no like history I can recall, but there's 80 comments on everything of like Alabama's the best. It's like we weren't even talking about you, but whatever. Like, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I have no idea who that person is, but they comment 80 times on every video I do. It's unbelievable. And so I don't, if you got David Gilmour in your art, laid it out. So I don't know. That it's interesting. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the show today. It was a good one. It was a juicy one. We'll see how the quarterback thing plays out. Thanks to Ryan Roberts hopping in, man. He does a good job following Notre Dame real hard, looking everything up, doing all of his articles and the videos. It's an interesting way to make a living and do your thing. Really appreciate him jumping in with his insights. And thank you guys for the calls, for the chats. Patreon is blowing up. ND25 promo code, by the way. Patreon's blowing up. We're gaining a lot of people. The chat is hot and heavy in there. The community chat log is hot and heavy. And it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to keep it rolling, you guys. Everybody be good. Have a good Wednesday. Take care of yourself.